Hello everyone, welcome back to the Running Through It podcast YouTube page. My name is Justin Horniker. The CCAA conference schools member institutions have announced that there will be no fall sports for 2020 already. This could have larger implications on the California school system in general, but I want to focus on how it will affect track and field, cross country, the fall NCAA system, especially if all California schools follow suit, whether that's California as a state or California state institutions. If you are a fan of college sports, this is going to have a large impact. The CCAA includes schools like Chico State, like Cal Poly Pomona, Cal State San Marcos. Chico State in particular is a top 5, top 10 school in cross country on the men's and women's side every year. So if you are NCAA Division II, there's no possible way you can now hold a national meet without one of your perennial powerhouses. Or if you do, it's going to feel very watered down, and it's going to have a lot of tough decisions for athletes at Chico. Because you're talking about athletes that might have a chance of finishing top 5, top 10 at nationals. Those high caliber athletes, if they want to race, they would be able to transfer somewhere else under a hardship and be able to race at nationals if other schools don't follow suit, if other states don't follow suit, and racing is still allowed at some level this fall. It's tough. I have some contacts on the Chico team. They're speechless right now by this decision. There could always be the possibility that this gets overturned. It's a really new decision. It happened last night. I reached out to my contacts, and yeah, the coaching staff is very upset, and they said they weren't surprised with how things are going, but California was very hard hit by COVID. And to be quite honest, I would not expect a fall cross country season. A lot of schools are already going to virtual learning. With the way things are going, there will most likely be a second wave, or we won't feel safe enough in the fall to hold these large sporting events. If you're a fan of NCAA sports in general, CCAA could have a larger impact just on the California state system. California state system has power schools in every division. And if you look at California schools in general, you could then be talking about schools like Stanford not being allowed to race in the NCAA schedule. And that would just have a large impact. And not just talking about cross country, because Stanford is obviously a huge school in cross country, but if you're talking about football, other fall sports, then you have schools like USC, like Cal, Fresno State, these really high-ranking schools that aren't going to be involved in NCAA competition. And then you have to figure out, well, what do these athletes do? Athletes that are coming in as a senior, do they get a hardship? Are they allowed to redo that eligibility like spring athletes were this year? Or are they kind of in a boat without a paddle at this point? It's tough. I personally, the way I see it, you shouldn't ban all college competition just because one state does. It's tricky. You're going to have to be really careful, because I don't think by the fall things will be figured out yet. And professional leagues have the resources of being able to isolate their teams, test everyone, put sections of each league in different host cities, quarantine them to their own specific area. In the NHL, they're talking about 4 hub cities. The MLS is talking about putting everyone outside of Orlando. The NBA is talking about Las Vegas and a few other cities. You can't really do that at the NCAA level as you can at the pro level, because more institutions, less money to go around. You'd almost want to err on the side of caution versus aggression. If things are going to be a little bit off base still, you'd almost rather them not have any NCAA competition for 2020 the full year, as opposed to rushing things back and potentially putting college students' life in danger. On the other hand, you have to feel really bad for these college athletes, these kids, 18 to 23-year-olds, 18 to 25-year-olds in BYU's case, but that are facing the tough decision of having to determine if their sporting career is enough to change schools, to change their trajectory on life, because you made this decision to not have any sort of competition in 2020. It's tough. It's a tough decision that no one wants to make. I am on a couple of different committees for determining if we're going to have meets, that sort of thing. And no one's super optimistic that there will be any track and field in 2020. Festival of Miles, which is someone I do social media for, the event that's usually held June 4th in St. Louis, has postponed. They've gone virtual. The Eugene Diamond League meet has moved to October 4th, but there's no guarantee that Hayward Field is either going to be ready or available for them to use. Diamond League has gone to 6 meets, but that's all up in the air. Music City Distance Carnival has already postponed once, and I know Dave Milner isn't necessarily optimistic that'll happen. I talked to people at DC Track Club, Atlanta Track Club yesterday, and they're kind of more looking forward to having some time trials and things like that to get that racing itch out of the way, but they're not optimistic about having any races at all. So, not to be Debbie Downer, but this is something that we had to be ready for, we had to be prepared for, that there might not be any competition in 2020. Let me know your thoughts on that. How disappointed does that make you? Do you think this is the right decision? Do you think it'll be overturned? Let me know down in the comments below. If you want more updates, trying to kind of get some of my insider info out because I think you guys find value in that, as nerdy as it might be. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more updates like this, because I'll be trying to get back in this rhythm of like 3 to 4 times a week. So more videos coming at you, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. We'll talk soon.